All right, let's now inspect the kitchen. I've got a stovetop, a cooktop, a sink. I think behind there is a refrigerator and some ovens. Let's take a look. I'm gonna run water at the fixture, hot and cold water, and look for plumbing leaks. The water lines and drain lines are located under the sink, which is through the back of this drawer. So let's stick our camera in there and see what we can see. All right, so here's the bottom of the sink. That looks good with the drain going to the main drain. And that there is a cap, so that's capped off, so that's okay. And it goes to a water trap. And then that fitting there could be for the dishwasher, but they're using a standpipe instead. This could be for a garbage disposal as well. But that's not capped off. So that's not capped off. So that is an open drain pipe right there. And that needs to be capped. And that's a standpipe for the dishwasher, which is to the side of us. You've got the water supply lines and the electric, the receptacle there, and I'll take a look at that. Just looking for water leaks. So it looks good. Okay, so all of that looked good. I'd like to see a higher loop on that dishwasher drain pipe that's going into that standpipe. And here's the dishwasher here. And when I inspect the dishwasher, I like to inspect how it's installed or mounted. It shouldn't wiggle inside the cabinet. Then I like to take a look at the control panel, make sure all the buttons and displays are functioning. Then simply taking a look on the inside. I shouldn't see any damage or rust or corrosion or missing parts or loose parts. And the drawers should move smoothly. And the rollers should be there and move smoothly. This is nice. Has all three drawers. I look for the tines, make sure there aren't any missing pieces or damaged pieces. And then the gasket, making sure that the gasket is in good shape. We don't want any water to leak through the gasket. And then the soap dispenser. So I'll take a look, make sure everything is in good shape here. Also, the spray arms. We want them to be rotating freely, like that. And we want the holes to be clear. And if there's a heating element, sometimes it's exposed, sometimes it's internal. I'll take a look at that. This is a Bosch dishwasher, and there's a drainage area that can be maintained. I won't do that during my inspection. I'll let the homeowner do that. And then I'll close and open the door to make sure it latches well. And then I'll run a short cycle and take a look for water leaks below. And I want hot water supplied to the dishwasher. And again, I want a drain loop, a high loop, or an air gap. So we have that at that standpipe underneath the cabinet, in the sink cabinet. And this dishwasher needs to be on a ground fault, as well as some other appliances in the kitchen. So if the dishwasher doesn't turn on, we go to the main panel board and see if the breaker has tripped. And here's that electric receptacle that we saw underneath the kitchen sink. So this kitchen sink and electricity do not mix. So we want a safety feature called a GFCI. So we want GFCI protection for that receptacle, but also for the dishwasher. All dishwashers should be protected by ground fault circuit interrupter. So a GFCI feature, and also AFCI, arc fault circuit interrupter. So a dishwasher needs two electric features, GFCI protection and AFCI protection. The stove, only GFCI. This is an induction stove, and it works with electric coils underneath the glass that uses electromagnetic fields to heat up the magnets, the ferrous magnetic pots and pans that you use. And the really nice feature is that it heats up very fast without any chance of getting scalded by hot elements like a conventional electric stove or a gas cooktop. So you need special pots, ferrous magnetic pots. And to test the induction stove, well, basically it's kind of like guessing often. You have to touch the stove and find the buttons to turn it on. So an induction stove like this will have like a hidden button that turns everything on, and there it is. So that's a little button here. And this turns on. Now we have a ferrous magnetic pot. It has a magnet inside, which gets hot because of resistance of the electromagnetic waves coming from the coils underneath the glass. And we'll turn this on here, see if we can. And you can automatically hear it starting to heat up. So those copper coils, electric coils underneath the glass, uses an electromagnetic field. So the copper coils underneath the glass uses EMF fields to heat up the pot itself. The pot itself heats up, not the stove top. And while that's on, here's the oven. We can take a look at this. Make sure the door functions and that the seal is in good shape. Looking for excessive grease or damage to the drawers or the oven itself and the glass. So we'll let that run while this is heating up. And I can feel it vibrating. This is a portable microwave, so we can test that as courtesy, but it's plugged into a receptacle in the kitchen, and that requires GFCI protection. And here are the refrigerator doors. InterNACHI has a refrigerator inspection checklist that you could use to inspect these refrigerators and freezers. In the kitchen, I'm looking at the cabinetry, the shelving, and how it's installed and fastened to the wall. And there we are, and we'll turn that off. All receptacles in the kitchen should be GFCI protected. Check the floor of the kitchen, the walls, and the ceiling. And in the ceiling, we have a hood, a mechanical exhaust fan for the cooktop. Let's turn that on. And that's the inspection of this kitchen.